Thanks for stopping scrolling today for a 5-minute Bible study. We're going to stop the 5-minute Bible studies on Mondays for a few weeks. We'll continue doing the 1-minute Bible studies every day. So I hope you'll stay with me on that. As we finish up on prayer today, I want to finish by talking about times and places. Jesus had a significant prayer life here on earth. He was in frequent communication with his Father, and he also taught his disciples, people who were invested in learning everything about him, about prayer. I think we should also be invested in that learning. So let's start by seeing what Jesus did model about prayer. In Luke 5:16, it says, "But Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer." Matthew 14:23 says, after sending them home, he went up to the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. And Luke 6:12 says, "One day soon afterwards, Jesus went up to a mountain to pray, and he prayed to God all night." I think you can see that Jesus liked to pray at night, but he also prayed early in the morning. Mark 1:35 says, "Before daybreak the next morning, Jesus got up and went out to an isolated place to pray." I think the important part of these verses is Jesus got up in obedience to the Father, got going. When we're called to go, we go, and got somewhere alone so he couldn't be distracted and prayed. And when he taught his team, he kept that as an important part of his teaching. Listen to Matthew 6:5 and following. He said, "When you pray, don't be like the hypocrites who love to pray publicly on street corners and in the synagogues where everyone can see them. I tell you the truth, that's all the reward they'll ever get. But when you pray, go away by yourself, shut the door behind you, and pray to your Father in private. Then your Father, who sees everything, will reward you." Now, Jesus is about to teach his friends about prayer in a prayer we call the Lord's Prayer, which I covered in a previous video. But the important thing to see here is that he says, basically, lose the distractions, my guys. He's not saying never pray in public, as I've seen this interpreted before, but not to pray to show off and to be undistracted when you pray. As we finish up on this topic of prayer, I want to tell you Jesus also taught on the togetherness of believers like this. He prayed publicly more than once. One of those times was at the Last Supper when he blessed the food in Mark 14:23, where it says, "And he took a cup of wine and gave thanks to God for it." But prayer together was also very important for him. And this last bit of teaching is also important for us. In Matthew 18:19, he says this, "I tell you this, if the two of you agree on earth concerning anything you ask, my Father in heaven will do it for you. For where 2 or 3 of you are gathered together as my followers, I'll be there among them." So, is Jesus saying, hey, ask for anything and it's yours? I don't think so. At least not literally. But as we pray together and ask both our supplications, as we're together, maybe more than both, that S of the Acts prayer that we talked about earlier, and we're within his will, the A of the Acts prayer as we adore God, and we agree together that both are true, then it's going to be God's will. But don't think because it didn't come true that God is weak or that you don't have enough faith. God will do for you, but we, like others, including Elijah, Jacob, Zechariah, all who prayed to him in his will, may not fully understand the answer. God's answers are deep. So should your prayers be. God bless you. Thank you for watching through this series. If you haven't seen all of it, I suggest you go back and find it. You'll find it by looking for the prayer ones in my list. If you're on YouTube, you can look for the prayer playlist. But go back and check all these out. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And keep on watching the 1 Minute Bible Studies. I'll talk to you later. God bless you.